And you guys have done Winter Jam a few times now,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
did it about 2 3 years ago, and
right.
it always seems to be perfect timing for you guys. You've got a new single out, and I'm not sure if it was coincidence, but I believe this place released the day Winter Jam started.
Yeah, yeah. We try to put a little effort, a little bit of time into getting things squared away and right. I mean, we definitely put our best effort towards everything lining up perfectly. They don't always line up the way you really want them to because,
Right.
there are perfect storms, but
Yeah.
we did pretty good. We got the single out the day that the tour started. That was pretty solid.
Nice. Was that something you guys wanted to do? Release the single, has some new music? Because it's been about 3 years since Unashamed came out.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a long time. I mean, we've had our head down working really hard on the new record for a long time, and
Yeah.
and it feels like we're kind of starting to get somewhere now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, we wish that we could have had the whole record ready by now, but trying to get it right, it's better to have the right music at the wrong time than the wrong music at the right time. You know what I mean?
Exactly, because I mean, you're when you release an album, man, you're playing on that record. You're playing those songs for 2 3 4, sometimes 5 years straight. So you want to make sure the music is good. You want to make sure you like it. The fans are going to like it because you're stuck with that stuff for quite a while after you do it. So I mean, how important is it? Because the last few records have been very successful to make sure
Yeah.
that this is the right stuff.
Well, I mean, honestly, like off of every record, you have to figure out what you're going to be playing for the rest of your life. And if you have a record that you release that doesn't have anything that you're going to be playing for the rest of your life, then that's considered a bomb.
Yeah.
So it's even more than just the 5 years. I mean, at this point we have so many songs that have been kind of uh, successful songs that we have to play. We don't get a choice. That it
Right.
has to be a pretty awesome song to bump something out of the set list. You know what I mean? And
Exactly. Yeah.
so yeah, the litmus is high, and sometimes you put things in the set list that are just new because you're excited about them, but
Mhm.
ultimately they don't stay in the set list if they're not great.
Exactly. Winter Jam is it's always a special tour for you guys, especially the last few times. I mean, that's the tour you guys debuted Where I Belong. I mean, it's a
That's right.
fun tour for you guys. I remember being at Winter Jam in Indy when you guys debuted that song and just getting goosebumps when that song came on when you guys launched into it. It's
Yeah.
it's 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 always a fun one, but on this run, what are some of the songs that are going over the best? Just those goosebumps moments for you guys.
Yeah, it's funny. Last night we were on out and everything like all the lighting stopped working and
Oh no.
all the sound kind of screwed up and we were standing there in front of thousands of people and I just kind of looked at the guys in the band and I kind of laughed about it and I said, let's do the show anyway and we played it and then we kind of got to a certain point where I had to cover for a few minutes and I just turned around and looked
Sure.
at my drummer and he looked back at me and we both at the same time said where I belong. And so it's funny. Where I belong is like it's like the forgiver of a multitude of sins. I mean, you can, no matter what's going wrong in a set, if you play that song, you're good.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
So it still has that same crazy impact that it had the first time we did Winter Jam. It's nuts.
oh, that's awesome. That's one that I'm looking forward to, and I'm looking forward to your guys' set because I've been at Winter Jam the last few times you guys have played Winter Jam, and you guys, your live show is always really good and spectacular, but Winter Jam, with it being an arena tour and just the level of that tour, I feel like it opens the doors for so much more opportunities with your production and your live show. So I mean, how much do you guys get to step things up when you're on Winter Jam?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it really is. You got kind of you don't really have a lot of limitations. It's kind of whatever you can dream up and whatever you can afford to do, they let you do, and that's
Nice.
kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, you take and not to mention that you have a big stage, and
Yeah.
normally when you play churches and stuff, or you play smaller venues, you don't even have that big of a stage to work with. So
Yeah.
it's great. We love it. We really enjoy. I feel like we are kind of right at home in that circumstance, and it really feels comfortable and normal to us. I think we were kind of always had a heart, had a dream to play those kinds of buildings. So when we get those buildings, we get pretty excited, and then it feels like the machine that we built is designed to work at optimum it feels like it's designed to work at its peak when we
Right.
play shows in arenas like that.
Definitely. Speaking of arenas and big crowds, I wanted to talk about Women of Faith because that's a
Yeah,
really cool thing that goes on every year, and you guys have played that.
yeah,
It's a lot. It's basic. It's just like Promise Keepers used to be. A huge,
yeah.
which I've been to. I was at probably 5 or 6 Promise Keepers events. But what was Women of Faith like for you guys? Because that's a completely different animal than a regular, full length tour, Winter Jam, Rock and Worship Roadshow type thing.
Yeah, Women of Faith was the surprise of our career. I mean, we honestly didn't know if they were going to hate us or love us,
Right.
and then, and of course, like I said, when you play arenas, you generally go, all right, well, we're playing an arena, like let's take full production in and let's really blow
Hmm.
this place up. And
Right.
talking to the ladies of Women of Faith, they're like, no, we don't want any of that. We just want you to play. And and at first it was a little bit like, well, dang, like what the heck, man? Let us do what we do.
Right.
But then, what was crazy is we learned that we didn't need all that stuff.
Right.
Like it was really cool because I mean every night we'd walk on that stage and it was connecting to a different group of people, like more of a heart type thing.
Hmm.
But I'll be honest with you, it was one of my favorite tours I've ever done in my life. I mean, it
Nice.
was amazing. I got to know some really cool people that have had a lot of influence on my mom and
Mm.
and on honestly, I mean, a couple of the ladies there were what held my mom together when
Oh,
everything fell apart in our lives when I was young. So, like I got to really meet them and get to know them,
oh, that's awesome.
and my mom even came on stage and sang with me and Sandy Patty one night. So,
Oh,
pretty,
wow.
pretty cool, pretty epic moment. And from a rock and roll standpoint, you'd say, "Oh, that's lame," but from a life standpoint, you
Yeah.
go, "Man, like holy cow, that was the only tape we had when we were moving from Mount Pleasant to Dallas."
Right.
With nothing, no money, and no dad anymore, and that was the
Yeah.
tape we listened to. So
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Well, I mean, I'm me being a rock guy, on the surface, it's like, yeah, Sandy Patty, whatever. I grew up on Sandy Patty, Amy Grant, all of that stuff.
Sure.
So
Yeah, yeah,
I have that side as well. So I mean, whether you're into rock, metal, pop, hip hop, if you know music, you can recognize how big of a deal singing with Sandy Patty really truly is. She's an icon. She's a legend. So that's a big
yeah.
deal.
Yeah, it's funny as you get older. Like for instance, right now my son is this ridiculous drummer. Like he's amazing
Oh,
drummer, and so
nice.
all he listens to though is metal. I mean, like, and I'm not talking about just. I'm not, like Red is on the soft side of what
Right.
he listens to.
Yeah.
And I listen to it with him, and I'm looking forward to because that's what I grew up on, man. I
Yeah.
was I was big time rock metal guy. I won't even name the bands that I was big into, but
Yep.
what's funny is that as you get older, I think you said this, as you get older, you begin to you have the ability to go, holy wow, that person is
Hmm.
incredibly
Yeah.
talented, and you're amazed by it, even if they're in a different genre. John Cooper from Skillet will tell you that one of his favorite is Celine Dion. I mean, come
Yeah.
on, what the heck?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I
So,
mean, I grew up on Petra, Striper, all of
oh
that
sure,
stuff. Yeah, and
yeah,
which talk to John Cooper, bring up Petra and Striper, and you'll be talking for hours.
that's right.
But you also, as you get older, you're like, Celine Dion, Carpenters, stuff like that. You want just good music is good music, you know.
Right.
But one thing I wanted to ask you about is with a band like Skillet on the tour, there's a lot of people coming out to the tour who maybe aren't believers or who've never maybe heard about Jesus because they're a Skillet fan. They see Skillet at these non-Christian shows. So there's a whole
Yeah.
nother opportunity to witness and evangelize on this tour. Is that something you guys think about and talk about?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, talking to John a lot, one of the things that I'm proud of John for is that he does not mince words when it comes to his faith and it comes to what he believes,
Yeah.
and that's whether he's in a Christian show or a mainstream show. I mean, the guy's just not afraid to tell it like it is, even in mainstream shows, and I just really respect that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's an opportunity out here. We all recognize that opportunity, and that's why we take it so seriously.
Awesome.
So we're definitely focused on sharing the hope that we have in Christ and making sure people it's articulated in a way that they can understand. And I'm excited about one of the things I'll say about this tour is that we're paying it forward. I mean, in
Mhm.
a real way. I mean, it's so exciting because when I was 20 years ago, I went to a show kind of like this where I saw Third Day for the first time, and
Nice.
and my youth pastor said, hey, you could do that, and then he bought me a guitar. He didn't just stop at words; he actually backed it up with money and bought me a guitar
Wow.
and sent me on my way. And so, one of the things that we decided we were going to do was pay it forward. So every night of Winter Jam, I'm giving away a guitar to a kid. It's actually the guitar I'm playing on stage every night. So
Oh, that's
just to
awesome.
pay it forward. So, like those kind of opportunities on a big tour like this, you don't really have quite that opportunity when you play smaller rooms. So it's
No.
cool, man.
That's awesome. Man, one thing I'm really excited about this tour is it's probably my fifth or sixth Winter Jam, but it's my daughter's first Winter Jam. She turned 6 3 days before Winter Jam here in Indianapolis. We're taking her for her first Winter Jam. She's excited about seeing everybody. And so I'm so excited for her to see something of this level and this magnitude. It's a birthday present, so that's going to be
Oh yeah.
awesome. But finally, I got to ask, 'cause everybody wants to know how are things coming along with the new album? Is that looking at a 2018 release?
Oh yeah, yeah. It will be 2018. It's funny. My marketing guy was at the show last night, and we were sitting talking about it, and it's one of those things where in the past this record would have already been out probably
Right.
6 months ago, but we're just really trying to nail it, this time.
Gotcha.
He used words like Jason. We released. He was the same marketing guy that was part of my first record that had Glory Defined on it,
Oh, wow.
and and he's like, Jason, I want to make a Glory Defined slash Listen to the Sound part three. Like I want to make
Nice.
that record that has those, that green record and that yellow record,
Yeah.
and I want to make the third version of it. So let's just keep fighting and get it right. But the good news is I think we're there. I really do.
Nice.
I think we're there, and at this point now it's just about getting the tracks completely finished up. I've got 3 songs done. I've got 7 to go, but the last 7 I think are going to come together really fast, and we're going to have ourselves a record that's going to be killer here soon.
That's awesome. It's hard to believe it's been 18 years since the first record came out. Um, but man, that's exciting to hear, man. Everybody's ready to hear it. Everybody's looking forward to it. Luckily, we've got a new single to sink our teeth into with Winter Jam this year and with this place. And man, it's just getting started this year.